Okay, we're going to start the council meeting for December 9th. Please rise for invocation given by our mayor, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Creator of the universe, we're here once again to conduct the business of this borough. We just ask that the clarity of thought and the wisdom from above comes into the minds of each around the table and those in the community that are the listeners and the partakers of every decision that's made at this table. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, subcommittee reports. Infrastructure. Councilor Culp?
Yes, we had a quite entertaining and fruitful meeting, the last meeting that we had. Some things here, we don't have anything on our laptops, but ongoing projects for the fall. The replacement of the trash receptacles along Trail and Riverfront Park with anchored wrought iron trash cans formerly from High Street. We continue repair at Rickard's roof, addressing minor leaks as they rise. Each minor leak is being traced to old repair work, not current repair work. Leaks addressed with our current materials and procedures are holding up well. Older repairs using less effective materials and procedures are now proving the weak link. Repairs totaled around $5,000. However, this includes replacement of gutters and downspouting. In discussion with PAID, Pottsgrove Manor, Colebrookdale Railroad, SRHA, and Carousel for collaborative marketing for efforts for Southwest District of Pottstown, Trek District. And do you have anything more to say about that?
The Trek District?
Yeah.
No, that's kind of in its infancy.
Yeah. And the cameras at the skate parks have been installed. 2 more will be installed at the pavilion in 2016. And I guess both bridges at Manatoni Park are being modified for safety. So that's pretty much what went on at infrastructure.
Any questions? Erica's not here this evening. She's up in Penn State making a presentation on our bike walk
Correct.
To schools trail. She also did one down in Philadelphia, I think.
Yes, she did. She asked me to share with council. I know there was an email that was sent out. As you all know, the PAID in partnership with numerous other entities in the borough, the Partners for Success, on a quarterly basis publish Momentum, which is a electronic and print newsletter that points out some of the good things that are going on in Pottstown versus trying to tell the positive story so that people recognize the amazing stuff that's going on. Nonetheless, you have it. I should each have an electronic version. If you need a paper version, there's one at the table, and the public is more than welcome to grab a copy of Momentum before you leave tonight.
Any questions? Transportation, Councilor Culp?
That will be next week, the 16th.
Okay. Anything, Councilor Kirkland, on the Rickett Center? Pottstown School Board, I do not see Mr. Williams. Ad hoc zoning and animal, Councilor Miller?
All right, let me just go back to one thing with the Ricketts Community Center. Councilor Kirkland, have you, the report that we're getting from Codes and Infrastructure that the repairs to the roof have been successful, have you heard any feedback about that? Okay. The zoning, we took back Councilor Geary's concerns and we reworked some of the conditional use criteria, and you have the rework in front of you. I don't know if it's something that you want to look at and review and vote on Monday, or if it's something that you want to leave for January for the next council. We together as a team has been working on this throughout, so I really would hope that we can all look at it and agree that the changes that were made were addressed all of Travis Geary's concerns and that we can go move forward with it. So I hope,
is that your recommendation to have it listed for Monday?
if council.
How about,
if council.
Are you ready for it? Yeah. Staff ready for it? It'll be listed.
Okay, and the animal ordinances I want to outline a little bit because they are new and they were just adopted in November, and they're out on the website, but they're under new laws. So if you look under animal ordinances, you're not going to find them. So I just want to outline some of the new stuff in the animal ordinances. And we've added some provisions and guidelines for the trap, neuter, and return programs for feral cats. And we put in protections for the feral cats within that program. And feral cats, they're cats that live outside, they don't have an owner, they're unsocialized, and typically avoid contact with people. They're community cats. They are the TNRs, so people understand, they are spayed and neutered, they're vaccinated, they're given an ear tip so that everybody can identify that this is an altered cat, it's a community cat, it's back out into the community. I am going to say, though, whether you're working for feral cat caregivers, whether you're working independently or as a neighborhood group or with a rescue organization, be responsible. If you commit to being a caregiver, whether it's community cats in the TNR program or even a pet, please keep in mind that animals are innocent, soulful creatures. They are dependent upon you for their care and protection for their lifetime. Don't commit to something that you can't continue throughout the lifetime of the animal. And then all I would ask is that if you can't help, don't do any harm. Be a good neighbor when caring for community cats. Provide a sandbox in your yard to be used as an outdoor litter box. Don't leave paper plates lying around that can blow around. Feed during the day and not at night so you're not drawing in other creatures. If you have questions about how to get involved, how you can help, need more good neighbor strategies, reach out to one of the very many local area rescue groups, or you can contact me directly and I can put you in touch. So that everybody understands, trap, neuter, and return programs are not new to the Borough of Pottstown. Rescue groups, independent people, including myself, we've been participating in these programs for many years. We just put provisions in the ordinances for protections. Domestic animals running at large are still prohibited. And then we did a lot of changes to our shelter standard for animals kept outdoors. So there's a lot of more requirements for the type of shelter that you can have for your animal outdoors. But one I want to make note of, since winter is coming, in extreme cold temperatures, if temperatures fall below 32 degrees, animals may not be left outdoors for more than a half hour. These are animals that I'm talking about that are kept outdoors. Not your Siberian Husky that you're playing with in the backyard for an hour that loves the snow, but animals that are kept outdoors. The same thing applies in the summertime. If it's over 90 degrees, you need to bring your animals indoors. The full revisions can be found on the Borough website under new laws. In February, they'll be under the animal ordinances once the codified ordinances are updated.
Any questions by council?
Scratching his eyebrows at me.
Okay, Councilor Culp. Bicentennial.
Well, there hasn't really been anything going on right now. From what I understand, we're still working on
The vault.
vault. So that's, and the things are still out in the hall to be seen by.
Should we keep this on for January?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully whoever the new council president has you as the chairman of that committee. Okay, we're up to presentations. Clifford B. Kraft, the retiree. Mayor?
Yes, it's our privilege and honor to give a resolution tonight for one of our retirees, and I would ask if Mr. and Mrs. Kraft would meet me at the podium. First, I'd just like to personally thank you for your service as I read the resolution. Whereas Clifford B. Kraft has served the Borough of Pottstown as a dedicated employee since 1976. And whereas during his career with the borough, he served in a number of different capacities, including water meter reader, wastewater treatment plant operator, water treatment plant operator, operator mechanic. And whereas for the past 11 years, Cliff has worked in the position of water treatment plant assistant superintendent. And during that time, he was called to duty at various times of the day and night in all types of weather conditions in order for customers to receive the best level of customer service possible. Whereas Cliff's presence at the water treatment plant will be truly missed by the people that have worked with him. Now therefore, be it and it is hereby resolved by myself and the town council that Clifford B. Kraft is officially recognized for the outstanding service he has provided the Borough of Pottstown through 39 years of employment, and further that he has extended best wishes for a happy and well-deserved retirement.
Okay, we're up to number 5, zoning for 212 South Hanover Street. Chuck, I guess this is you.
I think it's me, but I think it's probably the attorney for the applicant, Chris Hogan's here. Just to give a brief introduction, I guess, council several months ago saw a sketch plan whereby the commercial portion of the Smith Pie project was to be revised so that the larger commercial building was going to be scaled down and some readjustment of the townhouse units. And we determined that there would be zoning relief required for that revised proposal. And Mr. Hogan is here this evening to update council on where it stands and his request for relief to the zoning hearing board.
Good evening. As Chuck mentioned, my name is Chris Hogan, and I am the attorney for an entity by the name of Hanover Square Commercial LP, which, when we appeared before the board or the council on May 11th, was the contract purchaser for the commercial parcel at Hanover and Industrial. I'm happy to report that as of December 4th, last Friday, we are now the owner of that parcel. We closed with Mr. Wolfington. When we appeared before council in May, we presented a plan that proposed 2 mixed-use buildings, one at Hanover and South, the other one the corner of Hanover and Industrial, and a pack of infill townhomes. As council may recall, back in 2006, the parcel was originally approved for a 50,000 square foot office building. And when we appeared before council in May, we presented testimony indicating that a 50,000 square foot office building at that location just wasn't feasible. We believe that the mixed use proposal that we submitted in May is the best use of that parcel given the current market conditions and the location of the parcel. We were happy to receive tentative support from council in May, and with that support, we met with borough staff, including staff from the authority. All of those meetings were very helpful. In particular, a September 30th meeting with staff from the authority helped us sort out some infrastructure issues that were critical to the economic viability of the project. Based upon that input from the authority and the authority's engineer, the plan was reduced slightly. The pack of townhomes was reduced from 6 to 4, and the dimensions of the building, the mixed-use building at Hanover and Industrial was reduced. I don't want to say significantly, but it was reduced a great deal. We need a variance, we need one variance to move forward with the project, and that's a relief from the townhome density ratio in the downtown Gateway District. We're scheduled to appear before the zoning board next Wednesday, the 16th, and we're hoping that council will continue to support the project. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
The size was reduced significantly. I know you probably don't have any drawings or anything here, but
I do have drawings.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'm happy to share.
I just wonder what looked drastically different from the street now as opposed to what it was before.
When we appeared before council in May, that building was supposed to be, excuse me for a minute. It was supposed to be 82 by 55. It's now 3 units that each will be 20 by 20, give or take. So we went from 4 units to 3 units, and the units are now 20 by 20 in dimension. One of the 3 actually has kind of a side, I don't know the best word to describe it, but it's a little bit larger than the other 2. I have a copy of what was submitted to the zoning board if council is interested.
So instead of the 82, it's going to be like 60-something? 20, 20, and 20?
It'll be 20 by 40. It'll be 60 by 40.
Okay, yeah, it is.
Can you rephrase what you're asking relief of, the density, complete that request?
There's a ratio, Madam Mayor, between the number of townhomes that are allowed in the downtown Gateway District for the parcels in question, and I should add, including the residential portion that's already being developed. There are currently 117 townhomes as part of the Hanover Square community, and there's a ratio between commercial and townhomes that are permitted. With the 4 additional townhomes, we exceed the permitted ratio by about a half a townhome per acre. So it goes from, and I have to check the records, but I believe we're asking it to go from 9.1 to 9.75 for the density per acre.
As far as aesthetics, is it going to be significantly, I mean, what we looked at before and now?
No, the aesthetics, Madam Mayor, will be the same, and the aesthetics for the townhomes will be consistent. There are packs of townhomes along Industrial now, and the 4-pack that we're proposing to add would be consistent with those townhomes.
Okay.
It's an infill location, ma'am, and it doesn't fit, you can't fit another commercial or retail building there.
Mm-hmm.
So the best use for that, otherwise there's a big gap. The best use for that spot that's left, in our mind, is our townhomes.
This is the corner frontage.
Well, it actually would front on Industrial, ma'am.
Okay. Wrapping around. Okay.
But you still have that 20-foot portion that sticks off the end.
Yes, sir.
So that still kind of gives it an 80-foot frontage look, kind of.
I didn't mean to mislead. I just thought that was off the frontage.
Right.
Certainly,
Right.
the dimensions are still decreased, but that third unit will have greater dimensions than 20 by 40.
And part of the reason is because the underground infrastructure, you need to keep it off the sewer line.
That's right, Mr. President. When we appeared before council in May, the proposal, we were covering significant sewer improvements that it was brought to our attention that we basically had to move things around to make sure that infrastructure was not covered.
It's been hanging over that project since its conception.
Mr. Hogan, I don't know the feeling of council, but would you be prepared to agree as a condition of zoning approval that the borough would be permitted architectural control of the buildings and the townhome units?
Absolutely.
Obviously, that's a gateway to the borough, and when the project was approved 10 years ago, there was concern about exactly what would go there and how it would appear welcoming folks to town. So
We agree that it's important that we put our best foot forward, especially at that corner.
That
So
would
we
be for all three buildings?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You're putting in the welcome sign?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Electronic, LED?
I don't think we've gotten that far, but I don't think that was contemplated, but we're open to all input.
And I guess just so council is clear, the request to the zoning hearing board is a single dimensional variance, as you indicated it, which would increase the permitted density less than 1 unit per acre. I guess it's 0.65 units per acre, correct, from 9.1 to 9.75. And it's certainly clear that if the zoning hearing board would grant that relief, this would require a revised land development plan be submitted to the Planning Commission and Borough Council showing the improvements that you're proposing, since they're not what is proposed presently.
That's correct.
Any other questions? So I guess we have three options. One to support, non-support, or just let it go through. What's council's, my recommendation would be, since staff has already supported this as far as the changes, that we send a letter of recommendation for approval.
So you'll put that on for Monday?
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. I apologize, Carol, I apologize, this is your award, I should have asked you first.
As long as everything is the way when they showed it to us and everything.
Well, I think with us having the control over the facade
Right.
that Chuck put in for us, I think we'll have that control. Okay.
Thank you very much.
YMC parking agreement.
Received a letter from Stacy Woodall, who is the executive director of the YWCA, asking to amend or, renew the parking agreement for the King Street lot. And rather than speak for Stacy, I'll hand it to you.
Yes, so we had, prior to my coming on to the YWCA as its executive director, we had a parking agreement for the lot across the street for the last 2 years. And I'm asking to renew that agreement again, but I've also asked for a reduction in the rate that we had spent the last time. The lot itself is very, very dark, and so what happens at this time of year, the staff have to kind of come out and move their cars around because they're worried about walking to the lot because it is so dark. If it's inclement weather, it's flooded, or so I ask for a reduction kind of based on those factors, because sometimes what I found is that some of my staff have gotten more tickets because they're moving their cars at 3 or 4 o'clock when they have a break too, so that when it's dark and they leave work, they don't have to go into the lot.
Where are the tickets coming from?
They've gotten tickets from the borough, parking on the street.
Oh.
Right, so they're parking closer to the building, so they don't have to walk.
I was wondering why they were getting,
Right, because they're moving out of the lot.
I see.
Sorry if I wasn't clear.
We discussed this in finance. I'm going to turn it over to our chair of the finance.
And this was taken under advisement. What we found is that the current conditions and billing rates are significantly less than what the standard rate would be for parking.
Okay.
And I think you have some totals?
Currently, the King Street lot, the permit parking, I believe, is $30 per space.
Per month.
Stacy, per month, correct. And Stacy, correct me if I'm wrong, currently there are 5 parking spaces that the YWCA is paying the $30 per month during the 2-year lease, which equates out to around $3,600. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, there's 15 spaces at $31 per space per year, correct?
Yes. However, we've had a little bit of transition from our second child care site, and we had absorbed some additional
Right.
staff from our second child care site just for the end of this year. And so I believe we got 5 additional parking spaces at the $31
Right.
rate. Yes.
So at the end of the day, it's 20 spaces. And under the current agreement, the YWCA is paying $4,530 for the life of the agreement. The proposal from the YWCA and the letter that was provided would reduce that to $4,470 during the 24-month period. If the YWCA were to pay the $30 per space per month, the fee that we would charge typically, during the 24 months, the borough would receive $14,400. So effectively, under the current plan, the YWCA is being excused $9,870. That would go up slightly based on the proposed new amount.
Right. And it would be the committee's recommendation that we grant the additional 5 spaces at the current rate.
I would just like to add this comment on behalf of Public Safety and Security regarding the reduced lighting and possibilities of crime for people that are feeling the need to move their cars around for safety, and the possibility that at the 30 space per month, if there could be some investigation into lighting and cameras for those lots and the outside of the Y. Do you have cameras outside of your building?
We don't have cameras. We increased our lighting. We put in a whole new lighting last year, like after I came, when I realized how dark it is in the evening. So, and we did that, of course, at our expense, but outside the building. And it does improve the lighting. Like it is ambient light over to the side of the parking lot that's closest to us, closest to the building. But, you know, with so many more staff in the lot, you know, people are further down in, and I think because, you know, the lot ends on High Street, pedestrians use it as a cross-through from High Street to King Street. And we have several times since I've been here observed nebulous activity that is happening between the cars, which is why the women move their cars
Doug,
before it gets dark.
that lot is slated to be upgraded to LED?
Right now, we're upgrading the Reading lot. We haven't, that lot, what we call the King Street lot and the Evans Street lot, neither one have any lights. There is one little box light on the front side of the Evans Street light, but it's very limited. But the whole back, the King Street side, there's no poles, there's no light, there's no underground, there's nothing there.
Is any of that being slated as part of the upgrade to the?
We haven't
The
looked
grant?
at it, but we can certainly look at it.
Okay.
Refresh council's memory, we're in the shoot for a grant that's in the review stage now, and we're hoping we're successful at it, but the goal is to re-outfit all of the street lighting in the borough and try and identify some areas where we can improve the street lighting at the same time to LED lighting. Really praying that that happens.
It's the 1,800 streetlight package.
Yes.
Your employees, did they all leave at the same time, or?
So
is it
no, we're a child
staggered?
care center, right, so it's staggered.
Any other comments? I mean, certainly reducing the cost isn't going to address two of the issues you have. One, safety, and two, the issues with water at times, I guess if there's clogged drain and so forth, so.
Well, so how it supports for us, and probably it wasn't clear in my letter, is so because my staff feel the need to go and move their cars for their safety in the evening, or if they can't park there because of the maintenance of the lot, if they incur a ticket or if they pay, if they go to the back part of the lot, pay, I reimburse them. The YW reimburses them. And so, I mean, that's really where the offset comes. I understand that it doesn't support the borough's ability, like, the income might support the borough's ability to light or maintain the lot better. I get the catch-22 of it, for sure. That doesn't change the YW's position or the staff's position.
What's council's thoughts?
I recommend we extend the current agreement and adding 5 additional spaces at $31, or what is it, $30 per month.
This is your ward, Ryan, right?
I'm sorry,
Flanders, about this
$31
morning.
per year.
In this case,
For
I mean,
2
it's-
years.
I would go with the recommendation of the chairman of the finance committee. Unfortunately, this is the only business that has a lease agreement like this, correct? And so we can't really base it on anything
That's
else
correct.
here in town.
Lowering the rate doesn't change any of the conditions. It's
Well, we can certainly look into dealing with those conditions. I
Right.
mean, Doug's going to look in possibly increasing some of the lighting there, and
Through grants.
certainly the chief can.
I would strongly suggest, Stacy, if that situation presents itself where they are unable because of snow plowing to use the lot, and tickets are issued, you speak with the police chief.
So we
Come
do.
to find he's a pretty reasonable guy.
He is. Thank you.
That will be listed for Monday. Police Department promotion authorizations. I guess this is yours, Chief?
Yes. The Civil Service Commission has met, and they have certified the list. You should have that list in front of you. And finished, first on the list for Sergeant was Corporal Mark Boyce. Finished first on the list for Corporal was Officer Steve Morrissey. So what I'm asking for you tonight is to ratify the list and give me permission to put on the agenda, give me permission for Monday to hire those 2 officers.
And the promotion will be effective immediately or in January?
I will go for January's meeting.
There's this corporal's list also, isn't there?
Yes.
Yes.
We doing that also, or?
Yes.
Okay. Good to see that we have a female that almost was at the top. That would have been the first corporal, wouldn't it have been?
Yes, and there were micro points between second and fifth.
Okay, that'll be listed. This next item is coming about as an issue that has, I guess, occurring over at Walmart, and the need to deal with clothing donation bins, I guess.
I think Mr. Place is prepared to explain the issue that has
Wanna come
arisen
up to the
regarding them.
microphone? That's for the hearing impaired.
Because I don't want to speak up. There's been an ongoing problem with the donation bins, not just at Walmart, but even in other locations throughout the borough, where once the bin gets full, people just deposit items along the bin, and it's become a safety hazard, a concern for public health, because some of the items that are dumped are not just clothing and things that you would donate, but other people's trash. And it is up to the property owner then, and it's their responsibility to remove it. So we would like to try and enact an ordinance at some point in time here in the near future to be able to regulate and control the situation.
We have nothing at all in ordinance dealing with this.
Presently, no.
So what you have in front of you is a model that, of Pennsburg's ordinance that we would like to, I guess, tweak it to have it deal with Pottstown and so forth.
It's pretty comprehensive. One thing that I saw that wasn't in there, and I don't know if this is something that you might like to add, is the borough being reimbursed for any charges incurred if the borough has to do the cleanup.
That actually is already handled through our property maintenance ordinances.
Okay, so it wouldn't have to be added.
Correct.
And this is a case where you have a good thing that it becomes abused.
Correct.
I mean, you see mattresses outside, chairs, everything else. Okay, that'll be listed, I guess, for you to start moving forward with it.
That's what council likes.
Okay.
So our action will be to adopt this verbatim, or
No, just to
just take it on?
start the wheels in motion.
Okay. And you have some tweaks you want to make?
I'll be talking with the solicitor about that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith.
PennDOT Quarterly Strategic Action Plan Progress Report.
If council would be amenable to it, with Erica out of town, she would like to report on progress at the Monday night meeting.
That can be done. There's any action that has to be done?
No.
Okay. Number 10, fire companies reimbursement fees. This has to deal with the attorney fees.
Correct. That's the attorney fees that I believe Goodwill and Empire incurred. I believe North End may have incurred or was going to incur along with them for the hiring of, I believe it was John Muir, to help them through the consolidation process. The amount totaling $19,573.40. Goodwill, Kevin Yerger, the chief fire rescue operations, has asked for Borough Council to consider reimbursing that since they feel that the costs that were incurred were as a result of the directions of Borough Council.
Want to comment on this?
I will. Finance Committee has discussed this through a few meetings, and we agree that the big push behind this came from the borough. They, in good faith, went forward, hired legal counsel to try to merge together, and even though it did not prove fruitful yet, we feel responsibility for it. We're recommending that the borough pay for this out of the reserves.
Out of the fire
reserves.
Fire reserves.
Yes.
Any discussion on this?
Can we stipulate that we'll pay upon the signing of a new fire agreement?
I think Mr. Muir would like to be paid, so I don't know how much longer.
I think
we
he's
wanna-
been paid. We're
Okay.
just reimbursing.
We're just reimbursing the fire company. Anything else?
No, I think we're paying for something that's not finished.
Well, that's answering your question.
We're paying for something that's not finished yet.
What is it that needs to be worked on as far as the new ones the old ones were reinstated?
Reinstated, yes.
Joe, I'm not certain what your specific question is. There are existing fire service agreements, and
No, I mean, the whole thing was that we were trying to get a new fire agreement, a new one,
yes,
not the old one.
well, a new agreement
We're trying to get
with a new entity.
Right, exactly. And that's what this was, that these charges were accrued from. So, we don't have a new agreement
Yeah,
yet. Right.
agreed.
So I don't see why we should pay until a new agreement is done.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
So you would not be in favor?
No.
Okay. Anyone
Any
else?
other comments?
I don't want to strap already financially strapped fire companies with a bill that, I know Phillies and North End are working very hard together. I don't know where the other two fire companies stand, but I can't see it happening so quickly that we would need to strap them financially
I don't think
with
we
this
should
bill.
financially.
You don't think they're strapped financially?
I don't think that $19,000 is going to strap them financially.
It would for North End Fire Company.
It's just my opinion.
Well, the North End's not even
No.
involved with the,
Yeah, they are. A third, and a third.
Is that the case? That's not what we were told.
Originally, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I know originally when the process began with Mr. Muir, there were 3 companies involved. To my understanding, and if I read the letter correctly, these were expenses that were incurred by Goodwill and Empire. In the letter, there's no mention of expenses that were actually incurred in the process by North End. But at the end of the day, these are costs that were incurred as a result of the companies going ahead with trying to create a consolidated fire department. And what that looks like down the road, we shall see. But nonetheless, at this point, council has abandoned that process that they were embarking upon. So therefore, regardless of what the ultimate outcome is, these expenses have nothing to do with that future outcome.
Well, we abandoned it because they haven't come up with the decision. That's why we abandoned it.
All right, well, there's a couple things here that we need to iron out before Monday night. I understand your vote, how that's going, Joe. But I want to find out if North End did incur any costs.
No.
Well, I'm getting an answer from a counselor that they did, and if we can get a definite, if North End paid, if we could get a copy of a bill from them to prove it.
I'll let Mark take it.
Okay.
I don't know if they reimbursed that bill. I know that Goodwill was invoicing them. So they're invoicing them for a responsibility. Now, whether they paid that or not, I don't know.
Well, the check that we're going to be giving is going to go to Goodwill and Empire, correct?
And then that would just resolve that.
So they didn't pay.
So in reading the letter from Goodwill, on February 6th of 2015, they paid a $2,500 retainer, and by they, it was a check written by Empire Fire Company. In March 20th, April 24th, and May 11th, 3 bills were paid by check to bring the total to that $19,573.40, and the letter indicates that those 3 bills were paid by Goodwill. There's no mention of payment by any of the other companies.
Now, I think what we're misunderstanding is if we're not going to reimburse Goodwill for that amount, they will then in turn bill a third, and a third, and each fire company will be a third responsible for that bill.
Why not 4?
Because the Phillies Fire Company retained their own private attorney and paid their own private attorney.
But North End pulled out, so they pulled out before they were even part of the agreement, even moving forward. So, you know, you can bill them for whatever. They're not gonna be responsible for it. The only 2 that we're responsible to, or that's actually outlaid the money, has been Empire and Goodwill. And if we don't pay them, they're Goodwill and Empire, who actually outlaid the monies, are responsible for eating that debt. Any event, it will be listed for Monday evening. If we can get if you could reach out to North End to see if they actually did pay, and we will have it listed for vote.
I mean, I can understand them wanting to be reimbursed, but we're not paying for anything. From I'm concerned, we're not paying for anything.
Well, we paid for them, or we had advised them to move forward with
right, I understand that. But there was no agreement. There was no.
Well, the end result was no agreement, but unfortunately, if there had been agreement, they may have even sought for us to pay for that total attorney fees. You know, if it had been in the
They
end.
wouldn't have a problem with that.
Well, I'm just saying that may have occurred.
There was an agreement.
We'll have it listed in any event, and everyone has the right for their vote. Okay. Bid award for signs, pipes, and fittings. I guess the first one is for traffic signs. Anything, Doug, on these?
Pretty straightforward. I think we had 3 bidders. One of them requested to be removed from the bidding because they made a mistake in their bid numbers, and we have a email from them stating that. So there's only Garden State and I'm on the signs and posts.
Protective Services?
Yeah. So it's between those two. We were still checking the specifications on their posts yet to make sure they were in compliance. But we'll have a recommendation for Monday.
And then the water pipe bid tabs goes to LB Water Services?
There's one bidder, yes.
It's within line?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right, we're up to year-end items. A, adopt the 2016 proposed budget. Any questions?
Okay, one question in the proposed budget, an additional employee for the L&I department is still within that, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The amount that we're approving is $59,662,371, with it being a balanced budget.
We're better than the state.
Any questions? Anything you want to add, Mr. Chairman? Okay. B, we are going to adopt Monday evening the ordinance to fix the tax rate for 2016. General purposes, and Janice follow along just to make sure that we're correct here. 7.218 mils. For street lights, 0.337 mils. For park and rec, 0.906. For the library, 0.230. For fire protection, 1.563. For debt purposes, 0.057, with a total of 10.311 mils. Okay.
Same as last year.
Yes.
Same as last month, which is always good. Any questions? That will be listed. The amendment to the fee resolution, do we have that ironed out? You'll have it for us by Friday?
I sent it to Chuck and Ginny.
Yeah, not the resolution, just the adjustments to the fees. I haven't looked at it yet, but I'll have the resolution ready for Monday night.
Well,
You
just
could
so we can have it on Friday.
Yeah, highlight the changes.
Oh, okay.
And the 2016 council meeting schedule for those who will be here. Any questions on those dates?
Okay.
It's always the first Wednesday after the first Monday of the month, and it's the following Monday is the voting meeting. Took me 7 years to learn that.
Finally,
Except for
caught on
when
that.
it's on the holiday,
Right,
Columbus
Columbus Day.
Day, yes. Okay, we're up to board vacancies. We have blighted property. Dan, I'm assuming those 4 will be re-upping?
I would assume so. Everybody's enjoyed being there.
Okay, the Borough Authority, we have one person whose term is up, Dave Wren. He was appointed 4 years ago, and certainly it's going to be council's choice as to who they choose, but Dave has been an asset beyond assets for that board. I mean, he was the one that got the capital projects program in place that has things ongoing in the sewer plant, and he has a facilities management background, and he also has he has a sewer operating license at one time. I don't know if he still has that in existence, but he has asked to be re-upped again, and I think he's an asset that you guys really should keep.
I would recommend that.
What's his last name?
Dave Wren. He's currently the vice chair of the board. Codes Board of Appeals, I'm not sure who's up on this, if they're, their vacancies. So if anyone wants to do that, certainly please come forward. EAC, Jim, there's 2 vacancies.
There is, and love to get people interested in joining it, so.
Padita, we have 2 5-year terms. Anyone know, are they vacancies or are they?
I think they're 2 going to be replaced.
Okay, if we could have those names put on there just so we know. Planning Commission, this is my term. It's up in February, but I will be resigning at the end of this year, effective December 31st. So I wouldn't recommend appointing anybody for 1 month. I would wait till February, because more than likely there won't be any business in January anyway, and besides, you still would have a quorum with the 3, so just appoint somebody to do that. Vacancy Board, that's you, Jim, I think?
Actually, it is, and I've not sent an update letter, but I'm perfectly willing to.
It's a busy board. So.
It's exactly as busy as it should be. Everything else is working fine.
Yeah, these are all going to be listed in January. They're not for voting on in December, other than the Planning Commission position, which is for February. And the Zoning Hearing Board, Mr. Harp has asked to re-up, and he's done a tremendous job too. So, you know, he's an asset you don't want to lose. I would recommend that you keep him on.
Stay with him, yeah.
Right. Okay, we're up to comments from citizens. Oh, I'm sorry, zoning.
But before that,
Oh.
we have a couple presentations.
Oh.
I believe the first one is one that you would like to give.
Yes.
Perform.
If I could have Barb Tironi come forward. I don't think this has ever been done. Okay, we have a resolution here recognizing Barbara A. Tironi for 10 years of dedicated service as tax collector for the Borough of Pottstown. Whereas Barbara A. Tironi was appointed to the position of tax collector for the Borough of Pottstown on January 3rd, 2006. And whereas Barbara A. Tironi volunteered and was appointed to fill a vacant position as tax collector on January 13th, 2014. And whereas in addition to conscientiously and effectively attending to her daily duties as tax collector, Barb has served as treasurer for the Pottstown Historical Society and has volunteered for Steel River Playhouse for the past 7 years. Whereas Barb is an avid gardener, baker, biker, and walker, and world traveler. Whereas Barb's presence in Borough Hall will truly be missed by the people that have worked with her and by the 22,000 residents of the community where she has lived and served with unparalleled honesty, veracity, and reliability. Now, therefore, be it, and it is hereby resolved by the Mayor and Town Council that Barbara A. Tironi is officially recognized for the outstanding service she has provided through 10 years as tax collector for the Borough of Pottstown, and further that she has extended best wishes for a happy and well-deserved retirement. Adopted at Borough Hall, 100 East High Street, this the 9th day of December 2015.
It's been my honor to serve the community.
This is
Thanks, everyone.
not often you get to kiss your tax collector.
It's not going to lower your bill.
No. My turn. I had one for Travis, but he's not here, so we will be doing that Monday evening. Hopefully if he's here. I guess if he is, that means we have a budget.
Thank you very much. for bipartisan government. How about that? Okay, recognizing Stephen M. Tironi as a member of Pottstown Borough Council for 17 years. Whereas Stephen M. Tironi was appointed to Pottstown Borough Council in December 1994 and again on January 3rd, 2000, and has served as president of Pottstown Borough Council since July 8th, 2009. Whereas Stephen M. Tironi has been an invaluable resource and mentor to Pottstown's elected and appointed officials who have relied on his professional skills and leadership abilities to bring about many positive changes to the borough, such as the Video Ray, Haggerty Steel, Sly Fox Brewery, and the Manatoni Steelworks. And whereas in addition to effectively attending to his numerous responsibilities as council president, Steve has willingly engaged himself in a wide variety of issues affecting the health, safety, and quality of life for constituents of the 4th Ward and of Pottstown's 22,000 residents, and has also served the greater Pottstown area and County of Montgomery by contributing and volunteering countless hours of his time to the boards of many civic groups, local organizations, and county commissions with his guidance and inspiration, and has provided his master carpentry skills to the Still River Playhouse, the Carousel, and the Colebrookdale Railroad projects. And whereas President Tironi, while serving in a most demanding position within the borough government, maintained the highest standards of public service and professional integrity during a variety of difficult circumstances and situations. And whereas President Tironi's presence in Borough Hall will truly be missed by the hundreds of people that have worked with him and by the residents of the community where he has lived and served with uncommon and incomparable respect, integrity, and compassion. Now, therefore, be it, and it is, hereby resolved by the Mayor and Town Council that Stephen M. Tironi is officially recognized for the outstanding service he has provided the Borough of Pottstown through 17 years as a member of Pottstown Borough Council, and further, that he has extended best wishes for a happy and well-deserved retirement.
Thank you.
Steve, before you speak, so you know, Monday evening there will be a presentation of an item, a commemorative item for your service. But I wanted to read a letter to you that was provided to us by a man who has a great deal of respect for you. Dear Steve, congratulations. Congratulations seems to be too easy to say, too easily said in expressing the enormous gratitude for the many years of service you've given to Pottstown. Those of us who served with you understand the demanding pressure put on you during your tenure of service with the borough. Good leaders, always the target of small-minded know-it-alls, are best served by their own quiet demeanor, their big picture view, and their dogged determination to arrive at a just answer. In thinking about you and these words, I thought back to my own grandfather, Andrew Gray Downey, who I revered as my mentor when I was young. Grandpa was a sage who talked with me while performing carpenter skills on small furniture items that he designed. He made inlaid tops for tables, which took a lot of time with fitting and cutting and then attaching the pieces to form some geometric pattern. To me, he was a teacher who was always a carpenter. Seems to me this sounds like you. Maybe the similarity to my grandpa is why I've been drawn to you ever since I met you. In all reality, wasn't there a young man who traveled to Middle Eastern lands some 2,000 years ago who was also a teacher and most likely knew carpentry since his father was a carpenter, and it is his story that has affected the world ever since? No, I'm not saying what you're thinking, except that there must be some synergy between building and then teaching others how to build. Maybe it is the measuring twice before having to only cut once that makes a person more decisive and more self-assured like you. In keeping with our country's founders, legislators were always expected to serve in their elected position for some period of time and then return home to their land or job. I believe in these traditions, and I believe you do too. As time moves on, so must others move into positions of responsibility. You've set a strong base for others to build upon, and Pottstown applauds you. As Grandpa used to say, a good job is its own reward, and a job worth doing is a job worth doing well. Again, congratulations and respectfully, Ronald C. Downey. Mr. Downey wanted to be here to read that, but as you know, for health reasons, he was unable to do so.
Ron, those words certainly mean a lot. I'm sure you'll be watching this on Friday, and you've always been a mentor towards me as being on council. I sat beside you for many years, and it was your wit, your wisdom, and your Irish, and he used to always say his farmer mentality, which, Ron, you were a great asset and still are to this town. So. And Monday evening, you will hear the rest of the story. So for those of you, it will bring tissues. Thank you. Now citizens' comments.
Mr. Frymore. Travis just texted. He's just leaving Harrisburg.
Do we have a budget?
I didn't say did. He said, well, for the job.
Thank you. Thank you, Council, for me allowing me to speak. I have 3 quick topics I'd like to ask you to think, and I will direct this one since I've been coming here for a year and 3 times the month. I will ask the Borough Solicitor, Charles Garner, to please ride up Quinter Street and see how Quinter Street looks. We've had vetoes. There's a new business owner. He's trying to keep his customers. People are getting flat tires. You guys filled it in. But today, sir, I counted 10 heavy-duty trucks came down that street, and the holes are like landmines. I'm asking you and any council member, because I heard Councilman Miller 2 months ago say that she wanted holes filled in an alley. And I was watching that at home on TV. But this is a street. Until any council member up here can prove to me it's not a street, ever since I was a kid, it's been Quinter Street. It's the borough's responsibility. And if they want to go to Norristown, we'll go to Norristown. We'll check it out. I ask you, I am begging you, you got a new owner in town. We lost an icon in town today with the hot dog shop. Yes, we were at the west end of town, but my owner and my boss, you know, we have holes out there. We need to have it rectified. That's number 1. Number 2 goes directly to Mr. Tironi. Mr. Tironi, and I just want to thank you for your service. I am certainly glad that you and the Phillies Fire Company and all the fire companies in this council came together and came to an agreement. Because one thing I'm touched about, Charlie Pierce is a great man at the Phillies. And he's a great leader. And you probably have one of the oldest leaders right back here, Bill Krause, from the Phillies. And I'm glad that came to a head. The only thing I'm sorry about, sir, is the slander that you and Mr. Flanders took. Because as a citizen of this town, that was a disgrace on your part. You serve our community, and what you say and what you do has to be approved by this whole council. And for people putting signs up like that, I am very sorry to both of you that that has to be up, because as a citizen, I think you guys do a good job, and I hope you keep doing the job. The third thing is, you know, last month I asked you council members for help. I have a Christmas party. I have 82 families that I'm doing food baskets for. 82. I picked up one this morning. You know how people asked how you get it? Went to the doctors, and a lady in front of me had a child and didn't have enough money to pay copay, and they weren't going to see her. So I just gave her my card and said, here, pay her copay, so that her child was sick and could be seen. There's so much of that in our community. I have 82 families. I have families that have Down syndrome. I have families that have cancer. have families that have so much, and I am asking you if you can get me somebody. I need help. I went to Sly Fox. I applied on their internet. If any of you guys could help me, it said it takes 4 weeks. 4 weeks is too late. I got 1 week left. I've got 82 families today, hams, turkeys. I got to buy milk, eggs, bread, potatoes. The Comfort Inn, big supporter of Comfort Inn, but they won't buy any of the meat. They will buy peanut butter jelly, some bread, potatoes. Mattel at the Comfort Inn is a great supporter. The Ice House Deli, a great supporter, Craig, because me and my boss go there and have meetings with Craig because we bought Vito's, he has, and they exchange business comments. So I'm asking each and every one if you could help me. Next Friday morning at the Manatoni, I'll be giving out the food baskets. Next Saturday is the party, the 19th at Norco Fire Company. It is in Mr. Taroni's honor and his wife. And the mayor has been there before. I would invite any one of you over there to see what we do. We have pizza, cupcakes, hot dogs, ice cream, soda, clown, a magician. We have it all for about 200 kids there. And we're helping about, now I think I touched about 279 or better with the food baskets. I'm not trying to take nothing away from Operation Holiday. People in this community do a great job. They do, because we all care. We all care about kids because they're going to be sitting in your seats in 20, 25 years. But I'm asking, we really need your help. Evan Brandt did a great job, and be remiss, I want to thank the chief back there because we had some, when the new owner took over, I expressed some concerns, and I want to thank you, Mr. Drumheller, for handling them. We have a great community here. Yous are all great people. And the only thing I can say to you, sir, God bless you all. Have a Merry Christmas, ladies and men. And God bless you for the job you gave to this community.
Thank you, Jim.
Can I just address a couple things with Mr. Frymore? You might have been watching a rerun because what I was advocating for that alley was last winter before the first snowfall, and it was a couple shovels full of stone. That was it. The residents, we pay to have that entire alley stone. The borough does not take care of that. But the street that you're talking about, Quinter Street, Mr. Yerger, I know that you have filled that in. Is there something that we can do to, if trucks are tearing up what we are filling in, could we make it a no truck access? Is there something more we can do to at least help that street maintain whatever repairs that you're doing?
But one, I would imagine most of those trucks are going into the business.
Is there there's no other way around that?
No.
It's all alleys that feed into there.
The thing of it, Councilman Miller, I'd just like to address this to the council. You have that money and access. There's one way to handle this. The street needs to be paved. I swear to God, you just go up there, you'll see the landmines at the end of the street. Some of them are breaking up in the alley. And I'm not trying to pick on the truckers, but like Mr. Yerger said, they get to, I'm not sure it's not Rixie anymore. What's the name of there's a coaster place there they get into. And like today, we had contractors' trucks and it's a street. You know, you can't stop them from coming in the street. It's just a suggestion.
Yeah, Jim, I've been up there too, and, it's going to need a complete rebuild, just like Edgewood Street needed. And what's the total cost on that, Doug? And it's probably about the same length. How much?
300,000.
And how much of a donation came from the Hill School to help pay for that? All of it, so.
And I know too, I've gone to Doug's several times to discuss Quinter Street. And we've talked about it and we looked over the maps and to see if it is a dedicated street, and we can't seem to find anything. Isn't that what we came up with? But there is sewer lines in there, so I guess it's still an ongoing issue that, maybe we can dig deeper, I don't know.
Councilman, I'd just like to say one thing. I'm not as old as Bill Krause. When I was a kid that grew up there, and it's always been Quinter Street, and should have been the borough's responsibility. West Pottsgrove has no trouble taking care of Quinter Street, their part all the way up. When you get to Glasgow Street, it splits. One side's Pottstown, one side's Stowe. And you never have a problem with Stowe's Quinter Street. But something drastically needs to be done because you want businesses to stay in our town, even though we're on the west end of town. And something has to be done.
It's on our list, Jim. So.
Thank you.
Are there anyone else? No other comments. Okay, we have executive sessions.
Yes, we have one item of collective bargaining and 3 items personnel, and unlikely any action will follow this evening.
I thank you very much. We are adjourned.
Do we do council?
Nope, I'm
Do we
sorry.
do council comments?
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Councilor Culp?
After the issues that happened out in California, I feel that Pottstown and our borough should look into more security within our building and around our borough. And I know with our police force and everything, we're all, we're all more aware of what's going on in our surroundings, and I think that's something that the borough could look into as far as our hall and everything is more security here.
We can do that. If you notice that, since Mark has come on board, and this is a lot with his police background, I mean, all our offices now are secure. And before, you could just walk in anywhere, and I thank you for that.
All
Councilor
right.
Miller.
Hopefully this will make you as equally proud, President Taroni, because it's with great pride that I'd like to introduce Ashley Reitnauer. Ashley, she's hiding back there. If you could stand up for us. Ashley is the Philly's first fire company, the first female fully certified firefighter in the nearly 145 years now since they were instituted in 1871. Ashley graduated from the Montgomery County Fire Academy on November 10th, 2015. She completed the 188 training hours to become a certified volunteer firefighter. So I am equally proud of the Phillies Fire Company for joining us in the 21st century and welcoming and encouraging Ashley as she undertakes this new endeavor. So go female power.
Just a comment on that. I always am very supportive of ladies and the female gender being involved in our public safety and so forth. My sister was involved as a state trooper for over 20 years, and unfortunately I lost her at a very young age to cancer, and that's why I wear this cancer pin. But I will always support females in non-traditional jobs and so forth. So I thank you very much. Councilor Kirkland?
I know some more stuff is going on Monday, but I just wanted to congratulate you in all your years of service to the borough. I know your leadership over the past, I guess I've been on council for 6-7 years, has been paramount and invaluable to the borough. And I just want to congratulate you on all your years that you've served. I mean, the borough is definitely in a better place since you've been president of council. So I just wanted to congratulate you on that and thank you for your service.
I thank you, Joe, for those kind words.
And above that, I just wanted to say also just to all the people of the borough, I just want to say Merry Christmas. Let's not forget the reason for the season, and just have a safe holiday.
Well, I don't want to miss the opportunity to say thanks, Steve. I've been in town since 1978, and I certainly watched you for most of your 17 years here. You've been admirable, and you're going to leave some big shoes to fill. So thanks for all you've done.
Or high heels.
There's a women's group that has a walk for that.
Thank you, Dan, for
You're
that.
welcome.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, I'd like to thank you for your service as well, and also to annotate that my tenure in public service parallels yours, starting in 2000 with the election to the school board, and also to hallmark the completion of the roof in that same period of time as being done right now. That's pretty exciting. So thank you as well, and also you've been here to watch me navigate the tool of Democrat and Republican in one body. So thank you for being the toggle there. I'd like to bring up a few items tonight. The first thing I'd like to say regarding public safety and the presentation that was brought to us by Stacy Woodall from the YWCA. I do know that I'm going to bring up some more discussion with the chief regarding the safety of the lot because of the mention publicly of nebulous activity and concerns about public safety and security in that location. I think it's important that once these type of things are publicly and on record, that we make sure we're doing everything possible to show due diligence for safety. I don't want to really belabor any cases of litigation and the settlement amounts that I've recently become familiar with cases like this and how they have played out, but I will suffice to say that it is in our best interest to do as much as possible for our own public areas that have been designated as dark and unsafe and requiring, additional moving around and jockeying of cars and ticketing and unticketing and things of that nature. So that's just something that must be handled effectively. The other thing I'd like to bring up is about the closing of the Very Best. I did send a note to the owner, and I don't want to really get into the details of that because it is a private enterprise, but I did make some suggestions for sustainability and viability and talk to Steve Banford as well, and we'll be giving them his telephone number to possibly look at some of those ideas and to see about the sustainability and viability of those ideas and their comprehensive plan, which of course is personal and private, just as the enterprise is. But I do recognize that there was a lot of excitement and clamor and, people are going to miss. So, everything has to weigh out in equity. If people are going to come and support it, but then there's other creative ways to maintain an entity like this at a time like this when Pottstown is restructuring as a destination place. The other thing I'd like to bring up, and this gets back to public safety again with the fire companies. I just hope that in between all of the banter, that there's no gaps where we as a borough could be found harmless in some type of catastrophic event where it could possibly be traced back to some type of organizational dynamic that creates a breach that can be traced back to us. So I think as we are moving forward with the fire services, and congratulations to Ashley for coming on board with the Phillies, very historic. And as we are moving forward, that we can always be looking from an organizational dynamic perspective from the borough about the operation, because ultimately the public safety is our responsibility. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll be here for the bills, for the taxes, to pass the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. And just one comment on the Very Best. I was in Borough Hall on the day that the story was in the Mercury, and as far as I know, I think Erica said that was the first that she knew of them closing. So, the borough has a lot of tools. We have an economic development director, and sometimes businesses that may be at a point that they need something, a little push, a little help, whatever it may be. I'm not saying whatever that is, I don't know. But, certainly we have resources. In fact, before we started this meeting, there was a public hearing on a possible public-private grant that was being sought. So, there's always tools that can be used to try, but if we don't know about it, but it always ends up being the borough's fault for us not doing anything. So, and I can only imagine how the blog sites and the Twitters will be flowing after Friday evening airing of this video. So I thank you very much, and see you Monday evening for the rest of the story. We are adjourned. Well, we have some executive session.